But anyway, let's dive into it. So Chapter 7, at this point you just took down the Magnificent Five. You should have around, I would say 48,000 to 50,000 points left. Depending on how you use boomerangs in this run, what I would do personally, you gotta go to the store one last time. If you would like, you could buy a set of boomerangs. That's typically what I do for safety. I don't really need to if I do a lot of my tricks right throughout the run, but I do it anyway. Doesn't really lose too much time. It's an extra 2 seconds to buy them. And the other thing you're going to buy is Mach level 3, and you're going to use that for the ships a little bit later in 7.2, but we'll get there when we get there. You can buy them now, or you can buy them before 7.2 starts. It's up to you. I prefer to buy them as soon as possible. That way, from here on out, it's a straight shot through the game. And that's all you're going to need. If you do have extra money, you're not feeling comfortable, feel free to buy Life, buy a Take-Two, whatever works for you. You'll probably have enough points to buy it. I don't need Life, and I don't need a Take-Two to finish this game, because they drop quite a bit of health along the way as well, even if you make mistakes. So, and that's really about it, so nothing to it. So let's dive into it. How this is going to work. You got to hit 3 buttons in the beginning of the level here, okay? And to hit each button, you need to jump to the very top. You got to pretty much drag your head across the ceiling almost, and zoom stomp. And right before you hit the button, you got to hold slow. That's the only way you'll get enough power for these buttons to actually activate. There's 10 lights on them. Now there's 2 ways to handle these buttons. You can either hold slow, and the moment you hit the button, continue to hold slow, and you'll be able to slide off the button without standing on it. You'll have enough power to just, you'll raise the lights up all the way, and I'll show you the first example of that. The second method is to zoom stomp it, tap slow, and then after you connect with it, let it go until the 7th light lights up, and then you can move off of it without having to touch it. So there's 2 approaches. The second way is faster, but the first way is it's safe. So, but let me show you what I'm talking about here. The first part, it's going to require memorization. Again, I can't really teach this. You're just going to have to do it yourself. The way I do it typically is the moment this starts, you're going to move a little bit to the right, and a cutscene is going to start up right away. That's going to be for the dive fighters to come out and attack you. The moment you end that cutscene, you can do a quick double jump, another double jump, and then a single double jump immediately vertically upwards. From that point on, you're going to slam the first button. We'll get there first, and we'll go from there. So here we go. Okay. So now we're landing on the first button. Let's do the first method. We're going to hold slow, and then after I hit it, I'm going to continue to hold slow, and I'm going to slide off of it. And the lights should go up all the way till 10. And there you go. I didn't have to remain on the button the entire time, as long as I held slow. The moment you have the 10 lights, Mach speed away. Okay. Now we're going to go for the second button. One note about the second button. If you Mach speed down, if you hold Mach speed to land quickly, 2 things can happen. Most of the time, what's going to end up happening is the dive fighter you need to get to the 3rd button is not going to show up. So you're going to stand around and lose time. If you are quick enough, if you're able to knock out both buttons, I believe these dive fighters are on a global timer. I've done this a couple times before, but it's so inconsistent I don't trust it. If you're quick enough, you can actually get a dive fighter to show up on the far right-hand side. He will show up. But what I typically do, is what I'm going to show you here, I just do a standard zoom stomp, and I don't hit Mach speed, and I wait until Joe hits the ground. Like that. Now, I hit zooms and slow rather on the button. I'm not going to hold it this time. I'm going to let it go till 7 lights while standing on the button. After the 7th light, I'm going to jump off, and it still should be the same. I should be able to raise it to 10. So I jumped off a little early there. So let's see if we can try that again. Right. So, the one thing I'm forgetting too, my apologies. You don't have to hold slow, but you need to physically stand on the button until the 7th light. There you go. So, sorry about that. If you do this correctly, that die fighter that you just saw me jump on, it'll show up right after you hit that 2nd button, and that's the one you use as a stepping stone to get to the 3rd button. Seven. And you can move. And there you go. So those are the first 3 buttons. So, just to reiterate, first button you can mock speed and zoom. Second one, I don't recommend mock speeding and zoom, but you can if you're quick enough. It's very inconsistent, but it can be done. And the third one, you can mock speed and zoom. And then the other aspect of it is you have 2 options when you land on the button. You can either hold slow the entire time and slide off of it, or you stand on the button until the 7th light comes up, and then you can move off of it. Do the second method. Second method's faster. So I'm just offering options for you. So now, we have the tanks. Now, how the tanks work, there are 2 tanks on kids mode. You can either take them out with 3 bullets in an enemy, or 3, you can take them out with 3 bullets, you can take them out with a bullet and an enemy, or you can take them out with 2 enemies. Depending on what the spawns are, the tanks will spawn 3 enemies at a time, okay? Sometimes you'll have 1 enemy on one side, you'll have 2 enemies on your side, sometimes you'll have all 3 on your side, sometimes they'll spawn all 3 on the opposite side. So there's 4 scenarios you might have to deal with. 3 out of 4 of them are manageable. The 4th one, where he spawns all 3 on the opposite side of you, is a little tricky, but you can get around that as well. And what I'll try to do is, depending on what he gives me, what drops, I'll show you how to handle it. I'm hoping he gives me 2 out of 4 at least. So we'll see. Okay. So we have 1 on my side and 2 on the other side. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to let this guy, he's going to drop down from the tank, he's going to walk up to me and jump over me, because that's just how the AI works. I'm going to wait for this tank to fire, and if you remember what tanks do, the moment you hear that sound, you're going to hit slow, and the tank will fire right away, alright? I'm not going to hold slow, though. I'm going to just let go of it to let him fire. While crouching, I'll avoid the shot, but the shot will actually hit the Cromartie, and it'll stun him. Once he's stunned, I'm going to wait for the tank to fire a 2nd shot. I'm going to reflect that back at him, and after I hit him with the shot, I'm going to run back and hit the stunned Cromartie at the tank to finish him off. Alright? Just watch. Jump. Sound. Reflect. Hit. Okay. Done. So there goes the tank. Okay? Now, there are still 2 enemies on screen, alright? So, what you can do, the original record run from years back, what it ended up doing was, it ran past the enemies, and he just walked normally toward the next tank. He didn't mock speed, no sliding or anything. If you do not take these 2 enemies out, what'll end up happening is, if you move too quickly over to the 2nd tank, the 2nd tank won't spawn any enemies, which means you won't have a fast avenue to take the tanks down. What I typically do is, depending on the situation, actually always depending on the situation here, I will take out all 3 of them. So even if I get the chance to rock on mode them, or I have to take them out personally, I will take out all 3 enemies in this section and then move on, okay? So check it out. So 1, 2, 1, 2, move on. Next tank. Okay, so we have all 3 on this side. So slightly different strategy. We're going to rock on this guy, wait for the hit, rock on that guy, and the tank is down. And you don't have to worry about the 3rd guy. After that section, don't worry about the enemies, rush past them. Doesn't matter. Okay. So now for this section, we have the Fire Leos, or the Metal Leos rather. We have 2 of them to take down. We have 1 at the bottom of the pit, and 1 at the top. I believe the one at the bottom of the pit is based on a global timer for spawning. So if you take long to take out those tanks or do the first section, it'll spawn a little bit later than it would normally. It's odd, I can't prove it, but that's what I've seen by experience. So, now to take out the Metal Leos, we're going to use 2 slow zoom red hot kicks, and then 3 red hot 100s. And that's it. So we're going to go down first. So, one, remember from before, 1 slow zoom red hot kick is the equivalent damage of 3 red hot 100 punches. So I just did 1 and forced them to hit. Now let's say I decide to do 3 red hot 100s. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It takes a lot longer for you to knock out a shield rather than just doing red hot 100. It's a single hit. And to do a red hot 100 kick off a dodge, actually, what you can do is, if say he decides to hit low, you dodge high and you can jump again, because you can actually double jump out of a dodge, like so. And the moment you do that dodge, you can actually go in for a red hot kick. So once again, that's how I do it so quickly. That's how I'm able to pick off a shield so quickly. But I digress. Now, in all of this moment's time, what should end up happening is while you're holding slow, the platform from above should be dropping. Now, depending on the positioning of the platform... Okay, so in this case, the position is on the right-hand side, alright? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on the platform, I'm going to slow zoom... I'm sorry, I'm going to zoom Mach speed kick, and that way I'll be invincible to all the flames going up the platform. Once I hit the second pillar of flames, because there's going to be 1 pillar, another pillar, and then a 3rd pillar at the top. Once I hit the second pillar, I'm going to zoom jump Mach speed to my left. And that should put me on the platform on the left-hand side. Let's try it. Right about now. And there you go. So I just got through that section without getting hit. And I was able to get up here very quickly. Now, let's say the platform is on the left-hand side. The left-hand side's a little tricky, because what'll end up happening is, if you're on this side, you run the risk of getting hit by the 3rd flame. So you have a couple of options here. I personally take it safe typically. I will wait until I see that pillar, this 3rd pillar here. If I don't see a flame, I'll Mach jump. If I do, I'm going to wait until I get the top, like so, and then Mach jump. I take it safe there. It just depends on the situation. You're not going to have the same position every single time. But anyway, once you're at the top, you're going to go to up here, this blue platform, where the 2nd Metal Leo will spawn, and we'll take him down like normal. 1, 2, 3, and you're done. And you're going to Mach speed to the end. And there's 7-1. There you go.